I did the math and calculated the price of every single Pokemon in US dollars. Now yeah, you may get all 8 gym badges, complete the Pokedex, please an old man or woman depending on what generation you're in, but what is that gonna get you at the end of the day? Status? Fame? Who cares about any of that? I'm after wealth. That's right, I've decided to hang up the backwards baseball cap, stop chasing gym badges, and throw away my dreams of ever becoming Pokemon champion. Now, I just want to get rich. So I wrote an equation that lets me calculate the price of any single Pokemon. Or, well, most of them. We've got about 700 in here, and I think that's good enough. To calculate just how much I could profit off Pokemon, and how much you're willing to pay for one. Let's actually talk about how this thought experiment works and my thought process behind it. Because it's easy to just point at a Pokemon and say, $2,000, but we're trying to approach this logically, so there have to be rules. For the sake of this experiment, let's act like I'm setting up a store in the actual Pokemon world where Pokemon are fairly abundant. Because if I had a fire-breathing dragon in real life, I mean, that's an easy couple million in my bank. So we have to pretend like these are things that everyone could go out and get for themselves. We're also going to be ignoring a lot of Pokemon lore, since you can't really put a price on a lava snail that's the same temperature as the sun. So we're ignoring Pokedex entries and most of the anime. We're also going to not put a price on any legendary Pokemon because of their uniqueness in the games, as well as putting a price on God doesn't really put a good taste in my mouth personally. Also, for reasons later on in the video, I'm not able to calculate the price of any Pokemon past Generation 7, so sorry Galar region, you're missing out. But with that being said, I will provide a US dollar price point for all of your favorite Pokemon before Gen 7 that are not legendaries. So this wasn't clickbait or anything. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's talk math. There's actually a super easy equation for calculating the price of almost any product. It's used by Amazon sellers, Shopify sellers, that aunt you know that sells long Furbies on Etsy, everyone. The cost of production plus the value cost equals your price. How much it costs to make something plus how much someone's willing to pay for it. How much it costs to catch a Pokemon versus how much your brother is willing to pay to get his grubby little hands on Lopunny. Awesome, video done, right? We just add those numbers together, bing bang boom. Wrong. If it was that easy, everyone would do it, but finding these two numbers takes a ton of market research, math, analytics, accounting, all that good stuff, which luckily I've already done for this video. So let's get into it. Let's start with finding our cost of production, since that will be a lot easier. Now, cost of production is really just made up of two things: the cost of materials and the cost of labor. How much it costs you to get all the raw materials for something, and how much it's gonna cost you to pay someone to go out and do it. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the minute rats start shooting lightning, I'm not stepping within 100 meters of it. And I've always thought of myself as more of the sit behind a desk, watch everyone else do work, and just take 90% of the profits type of guy. You know, a CEO. So to find out how much our cost of materials is, we really just need to figure out how many Pokeballs we gotta throw at something before we get it. Then we're free to sell it. We also need to figure out how much a Pokeball actually is in US dollars, because that's going to be important. Now, tons of people have done this calculation before, but I'll just run you through it if you've never heard of it. Basically, by using the price of lemonade, which is 350 in-game Pokedollars, and relating that to in real life, where let's say it's about $2 here in San Francisco, it's easy to find out that a Pokeball is actually only $1.15, which is not much at all. Then all I had to do is really just calculate how many balls I would have to throw at any Pokemon to capture it reliably. Let's say for this metric, we need a 95% chance of catching it. So how many balls would it take to capture a Magikarp? Well, it depends. There are so many factors that go into catching a Pokemon. How much health it has, how much health you have, what level is your Pokemon, how many gym badges do you have? And this is actually very easy for me because I'm not going to be paying skilled laborers to go out and catch these Pokemon. So 0 gym badges, level 1 Pokemon, nothing. And for the sake of consistency, we're putting every Pokemon at level 50 and at full health, so it'll be fairly difficult to capture them. Luckily, there are plenty of online calculators that can do the math for us, and so by plugging every single Pokemon in, we now know how many Pokeballs it'll take, and more importantly, how much it'll cost us to catch any single Pokemon in the game. And I gotta be honest, it was a little rich for my taste. Even a dinky little Magikarp, which is one of the easiest Pokemon to catch in any game, I still gotta pay $42 in Pokeballs just to catch a level 50 one at full health, which is a little expensive. It might be time to start standing on a bridge and start mugging kids for their own Pokemon, but it hasn't come to that. Yet, at least. Because we still gotta figure out more cost, and we haven't even begun to calculate our profit yet. We gotta figure out how much we get to pay people to catch these Pokemon. And it should be easy now that we know how many balls to throw at it. Except, we gotta pay them an hourly wage. And I've never really done the math about how long it'll take to throw 140 balls at an Arcanine. But I know someone who could help me. Enter Sam, my little brother. Now, he's a very talented baseball pitcher who actually plays in a D1 league in college. He's also gotten scholarships and a ton of accolades traveling all across the country just to play ball. So if anyone I know knows how to throw Pokeballs at a Pokemon, it's gonna be him. He's the expert. So after some tactful negotiation and threatening to blackmail him to our mother, he told me that people could throw about 70 balls an hour without throwing their arm out and getting an injury, because I'm not giving them health insurance, and that a fair wage would be about $25 an hour, which I was perfectly fine with. Now we basically have everything we need to calculate the cost of production. And let's review the equation in case you haven't been writing this down and taking notes, which I didn't ask you to do, so don't feel bad. The amount of Pokeballs it takes to catch a Pokemon multiplied by $1.15 will get you the US dollar price for the cost of materials. Then you take the amount of Pokeballs it takes to catch a Pokemon, divide by 70, and multiply by 25 to get the cost of labor. And by adding these two numbers together, you get your total cost of production. Woo! Math, business, accounting, hooray. But let's see an actual example for this. For example, Snorlax takes 218 Pokeballs to catch. If you're level 1, he's level 50 and he has full health, which means it'll take about $249.14 in Pokeballs to catch reliably. Now for labor costs, we'd have to pay someone about $77.86 based on our equation to figure that out. That means our total cost for Snorlax is only going to come out to about $357.79, which is so much less than I thought it was going to be. I would pay that much just to lay on Snorlax's fat belly, much less have one. Well, now that we know how much it costs, we could always hire a bunch of freelancers to do an Uber Eats DoorDash style company that delivers Pokemon to trainers, but that might inspire people to actually go out and catch them on their own, and I want all the money for myself. Of course, there's always the risk that our employees will start stealing Pokemon from us, since there's a lot more to gain from selling them instead of getting paid by us, and in that regards, we'll threaten them. Sorry about that. Moving on, let's talk about actually making some money off all these Pokemon we caught now. So let's talk about value cost, because essentially what that boils down to is this is how much profit we're going to be making off of selling our Pokemon. Now, if we were starting a real small business, the easiest way to do this is just to copy other people. What are other people charging for this service or product, and then basically just undercut their prices. But as it turns out, Pokemon don't exist, so that'll be a lot harder. So then I thought, well, if I can't do real Pokemon, what about Pokemon cards? But because of every other streamer and their mother, Pokemon cards are wildly expensive now. I mean, Logan Paul just paid $5 million for a Pikachu who also has a side job as an unemployed artist. Okay, Pokemon cards are too volatile, but what if we looked at actual animals instead of fake ones? Well, turns out every pound I called to could give me a price for dogs, but they weren't really sure how much value to add if the dog could also breathe fire. So that also would be a dead end. At least, I thought it would be. But while I was on the adoption website, I noticed very fast that puppies and kittens are listed separately than cats and dogs and at a much higher price. The reason for this is simple. They're more popular, and popularity equals cash. The only reason a Pikachu with a liberal arts degree is even worth close to $5 million is because that card is rare and popular. So here's my hunch. If I can calculate the popularity of every single Pokemon, I can directly correlate that to a price point. Awesome, I'll grassroots this. I'll take to the street and just ask people to rank 700 Pokemon like some fucking chump. No, this is the digital age. People put out surveys all the time trying to figure out which Pokemon are the most popular. I mean, even the Pokemon Company does this, although they only give the top 30, and we're looking to get as many Pokemon as we possibly can. So the best survey that I found that had enough results to actually be useful was from 2019 on Reddit. Wait, come back. I swear Reddit's not that bad. I mean, it is, but I mean, it's useful here. If anyone else brings me a Pokemon survey with over 50,000 votes and results, I'll happily use it, but for now, this is the best we've got. And this is also the survey that doesn't have any of the Galarian Pokemon because, I mean, it came out in 2019, which is why I won't be able to calculate the price of any of them. Now we just need to figure out how much popularity is actually worth. I mean, how popular is Bulbasaur compared to something like Kakuna, and how much does that relate to in dollars? And that's actually a very hard question to answer. Popularity and value are intrinsically linked, but unlike what most people think, it's not linear. Popularity and value are exponential. A good example of this is Pokemon cards again. Just because a card is 3 times more popular than another doesn't mean it's going to be worth 3 times the amount. It might be worth 10 or 20 times more just because it's a bit more popular. This unevenness is what makes this a curve, otherwise known as an exponential equation. So we're not actually looking for a conversion rate, we're looking for an exponential equation, and I have an idea of how we can find that. Remember when I said that we really needed to copy a different person's business model? Well, we can do that. Let's look at the casino prices for certain Pokemon. We can use the conversion rate from our lemonade formula earlier to actually figure out the value in US dollars for Pikachu, Dratini, and Eevee. Now, using all the calculus AB power of a high school junior, I could just do a bit of curve matching and math to pop out an exponential equation. Then I just need to throw that into an Excel sheet and boom! We have our value for every single Pokemon, and more importantly, how much profit we can make. Now, if you look carefully, you might see a lot of these Pokemon actually have negative value. What this essentially means is that I'm gonna be losing money on these Pokemon, that not enough people want to buy it, and I'm gonna lose money if I try to sell it. They're simply not popular enough to even be worth catching. And hey, if one of these is your favorite Pokemon, loser? Not really. In fact, more than half of these Pokemon aren't gonna net me any profit, which is nuts! But now by adding our cost of production and cost of value together, we have our retail price for every single Pokemon. So, let's look at the results. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, your most expensive Pokemon is Metagross! Which is, exciting, but also kind of weird. Now, it's surprising to me not because Metagross is unpopular, it actually performed fairly well in the survey. It's just that most of the cost for Metagross comes because it's so hard to catch. Every single Pokemon in the Metagross line has the catch rate of a legendary Pokemon, and in fact, they're the only non-legendary Pokemon to be this difficult to catch. Earlier, we calculated that it would take 37 balls to catch a Magikarp. Well, for a Metagross, it would take 1,073. That's 15 hours of someone just throwing balls at this steel behemoth. And what's your prize for doing all of that? Well, you can only sell it for a profit of $300, which, for the 15 hours of labor, isn't much. Remember, we're trying to run a business here. It's not about selling the most expensive Pokemon, it's about selling the most profitable ones. So I need to do one last calculation. I need to figure out what the most profitable per hour Pokemon are. And this is easy since we already know how long it'll take to catch every Pokemon. We just need to divide our value by those hours and boom, new list, round 2, our most profitable Pokemon is, drumroll, Arcanine, which actually is pretty cool. Now, going out and catching Arcanines, you'll actually make $700 an hour in profit, including how much we'd pay someone else to go do it for us, and the cost of Pokeballs, which is nuts. Just doing Arcanines and working a 40-hour work week is netting you $1.5 million of profit a year. That's amazing. Now, there are tons of other great Pokemon out there to catch, like Gengar and Charizard, but all of these Pokemon aren't the most common. If we're talking about a Pokemon that's actually really common, you should probably hit Lavender Town. Right now, we're hunting Cubones. Yeah, the little dead mom sad sack of a Pokemon, that was really mean, I'm sorry, will net you about $360 an hour. It's not the highest as like Arcanine, Charizard, or Gengar, but Cubones are a hell of a lot more common. And hey, it's not like their families are gonna miss them. But actually, that gives me a good idea. not the having a family bit. But where is the best region to actually hunt for Pokemon? Which one has the most profitable ones? And when I looked at it, to no one's surprise, it was the Kanto region. If you throw a Pokeball in a bush and catch a random Pokemon, there's a 50% chance you'll be making at least $7.54. That's the median price of any Pokemon in the Kanto region. Every other region except for Johto isn't profitable. More than half of their Pokemon will net you next to nothing, which is nuts to think about. But it kind of reminds me of Pokemon cards. You know, nostalgia is valuable. You can put a price on it. And we kind of just did. So we'll be opening up our Pokemon Emporium in Kanto. Okay, we've talked a lot about the Pokemon we need to catch, but what about the Pokemon we need to avoid? There's this concept in Pokemon that every Pokemon is someone's favorite, and I'm here to tell you that's wrong. There are 4 Pokemon that actually will net you so much loss because not a single person of the 50,000 people who filled out the survey wanted. Those 4 Pokemon are Electric, Silcoon, Gothita, and Yungoos. Every time we catch and try to sell one of these, we're actually losing $20. We'd have to pay someone $20 to take any of these stinkers off of our hands. So let's just avoid them entirely and not even go close. So now that we know what Pokemon to catch and which ones to avoid, how about one last time we go over our final business plan so we can figure out how we're gonna get rich. Move to the Kanto region, build a legion of loyal Pokeball catchers. Maybe make them wear uniforms so that we can recognize them from everyone else. If any of them disobey you, kneecaps shattered. Pay them all to go around and catch profitable Pokemon around the region. Pikachus, Cubones, Charizards, etc. Then we open a store for Pokemon. We're gonna base these prices off the casino prices. And while we're at it, maybe we should just look into opening a casino in the first place. In fact, let's just make the casino our base of operations. That just streamlines things. We also need to intimidate other trainers. That way they won't go around catching Pokemon we need. And if they do, we'll just threaten them to give it to us. Now we're making profits. Now we're making revenue. Our business is booming. We're to the moon. We're just like a rocket. Uh-oh. Hey all, I hope you enjoyed that video. I put a ton of work into that, so I hope it showed. It's probably my favorite video I've done so far and definitely the most amount of effort. I do have more videos like this planned, but I'm also going to do some other stuff too, so subscribe and stick around. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.